Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this information session. It's part of the series presented by the DRD. And today we'll talk on issue funding opportunities, and this is funding opportunities aimed at issue staff members. So we won't be touching on any opportunities for students. So just some housekeeping. Please keep yourself muted until the end when you can ask questions, and you're also welcome to post questions in the chat. We'll monitor that. I'm co-presenting with me will be Levert Lowe and I'm Dominique Meyer here with me, and also Dr. Tanya Brodowski from the Faculty of Medicine and Health Sciences. Our main source of funding opportunities within university is through the subcommittees of the research committee. So I'll just start off on showing you a bit more about the structure. So the research committee is a committee of Senate. And this is our policy committee and our strategic committee, where the working committees are subcommittee A, B, and C, who then make decisions on funding, and also advise on NRF applications, like the rating applications and the TUC applications, and they also co-fund the TUC applications. Next slide, please. So the core responsibilities of these committees are to give specific contextual advice to the research committee on policy matters. And they do the internal screening, as I said, of the rating applications and the TUC applications. Also, they screen consolidate applications on behalf of the BBC Research, and then they also allocate central research funding. So Levert will now talk a bit about subcommittees A and B.
Hi, good afternoon, colleagues. I trust you all are well. I'll take you through subcommittee A and subcommittee B funding opportunities, and what you'll notice is that the funding opportunities for both subcommittees are mostly the same. Firstly, subcommittee A services the faculties of arts and social science, education, law, theology, EMS, and also military science. The funding opportunities that are available under Subcommittee A is firstly the publication incentive, which the university rewards 2 researchers, and it's usually 10% of the research output subsidy amount for year 1, which is awarded in year 2. So the average for 2023 was 12,614 per unit. And these units basically include journal articles, chapters in books, and books itself, and every other output that one publishes. The second opportunity is the funding for newly appointed staff members. So this is basically funding that is aimed at just providing new researchers at SU with the opportunity to establish their research at the university. And the funding is usually up to 60,000 Rand for year 1. The third one is the project co-funding for Tutuka, and it's usually up to 50,000 Rand maximum for the duration of the grant. And what's also important to notice there that if you are not successful at the NRF, this money can then basically play the role of seed funding for 1 year. And what you'll also notice is that all the percentages are basically the percentages spent or budget spent in 2023. To continue with more opportunities, We also offer postdoc fellowships under Subcommittee A, which is up to 250,000 for up to 2 years. What you also need to notice for this year, there are no calls due to funding constraints. However, we also do have the postdoctoral fellowship top-ups, which is up to 50,000 Rand per year, but it's also depending on the value of the main grant. Thirdly, what we also have there is the Consolidocs, and this is basically money which the DVC funds. This is usually for people who just finished their PhD, and it's up to 70,000 Rand for a period of 6 months. And we also have the book publication costs, which is there to assist you with the process of publishing your book, and that is also up to 50,000 Rand. So I'll go on to. So as I mentioned, Subcommittee A funding opportunities are almost exactly like that of Subcommittee B. However, it would just be the values in terms of the amounts of funding that would basically differ. So what you'll see is that for publication incentives, it's almost exactly the same. Also, 10% of the research output subsidy is usually rewarded to the researcher. In terms of newly appointed staff members and then also emerging researchers not eligible for Tutuka, the amounts differ. So here it's between 45K up to 120, also for up to 2 years. The Tutuka co-funding is also 45K up to 120, or also depending on the duration of the grant. Here, the postdoctoral fellowship is up to 300,000, so up to 2 years. And then the postdoctoral fellowship top-ups is up to a max of 100,000, also depending on the value of the main grant. And then the Consolidocs for Subcommittee A or Subcommittee B is exactly the same of Subcommittee A. And now I'll also hand back to Marlene to just take us through why there was a difference in the SOS funding, why the SOS funding did not increase.
So yeah, I often get asked the question on why the SOS funding is so low, whereas at some other universities it's much higher, the publication incentive. It's due to several reasons, but the bottom line is, you can see the red lines are the research funding awarded to the 3 subcommittees, and that grows by a small inflation amount each year, whereas the number of outputs have grown far more. So the committees just can't afford funding more. We're in a way running out of funds to fund anything else than SOS funding. So yeah, I'm definitely in the current I'm funding a mechanism through main budget. There's no way to increase this amount. Okay, so over to Tanya for Subcommittee C.
Thank you, Marlene and Levert, and good afternoon, colleagues. So I'll be sharing with you what Subcommittee C has to offer. In some cases, it's similar to Subcommittee A and B, but we do have a few different funding streams as a result of our S funds being slightly lower, and those are all strategic decisions made by the committee. So we have a research assistant funding stream for a 4-year contract for a full-time research assistant in terms of a contract position. It's meant to be topped up by the environment who appoints the person depending on their qualifications. So we make an award of 100,000 Rand per year or one-time award of 400,000 Rand for the duration of the contract. Our temporary research assistance funding stream is for busy clinicians or researchers, senior people, to appoint an ad hoc research assistant. We award up to 30,000 Rand for the year, and they do their ad hoc payments depending on the hourly rate of the person. We have a lecture replacement fund stream for the allied health sciences, who typically have very high lecture loads, so that they can appoint someone to maybe take over a module in a semester to fast track their own research outputs. Those awards are 5,000 Rand, but it is enough to really buy out maybe a module in a semester. We also have postdoctoral fellowships, and we will be awarding postdoctoral fellowships this year. Slightly different value to Subcommittee B. We offer up to 220,000 Rand per year for the 2 years. But it can be topped up by the environment. Then we have an early career research fund stream where we basically provide seed funding to early career researchers. We have a definition for those in the hardcore biomedical sciences having to have a PhD within 5 years, or those clinician specialists having had their qualification in the last 10 years. So we do provide for a period of a year, up to 90,000 Rand for these. I didn't mention about the Consolidocs, and I don't have it in the slides, but it is exactly the same as for Subcommittee A and B. We also offer the same amount, 70,000 Rand a year for the post-PhD phase. Then we do have the NRF the TUCA stream, where we also provide one-to-one co-funding but in this case only for successful applicants. And unfortunately, we had to cap, just because of our limitation of funding, we're capping candidates to 50,000 Rand for each year. And these awards, as you may know, have different tracks: PhD, post-PhD, and NRF rating track. And it can buy a lot of time. On the right, you will see all of the previous funds. They are administered by Mr. Tashwell de Wet. And I do provide you here with his contact details should you have any queries, or you're welcome to contact me. Then through our undergraduate research support office, we also offer research project funding, conference presentation funding, and publication incentives. And Ms. Ingerson, the head of the undergraduate research support office, is the person that you can contact there. So I have included, simply because these are all Subcommittee C funding streams, I have included these mechanisms where we also support students on top of staff. So we do cater for all. You can advance, thanks, Levert. All right, so we also have the special support scheme, as was previously explained. We have kept that at 8,000 Rand per publication or per publication unit, simply because our research subcommittee C decided that this budget should not become more than 50% of the total budget. Otherwise, we cannot afford to do those other funding streams. So that was the compromise. And then a new fund through subcommittee C that we introduced in 2013 that seems to really grow in popularity for obvious reasons, is that we have put aside a bit of funding for open access publications for article processing fees. And for that, we promoted to early career staff, postdoctoral fellows, and all levels of postgraduate students. And we do provide up to 30,000 Rand per article. It depends, of course, on a number of eligibility criteria, and then also the article and the journal and all of that, which I won't go into. And we make that proportional to the number of Faculty of Medicine and Health Sciences authors. Thank you, Levert. And just for inclusivity, I have included 3 funding streams that we have outside of Subcommittee C funding. We have a scientific travel fund for research visits abroad, as well as conference visits, national or international, and you can see the amounts there, up to 20,000 and 7,000 respectively. Linked to that, we have a publication award fund that is on top of the SOS or the SSS funds, where early career researchers and postgraduate students once again can apply to get up to 5,000 Rand per article. And we do also offer a very small incentive of 2,000 Rand for supervisors associated with those publications. And I won't go into the eligibility criteria. You'll find it on our website that I'll share with you just now, or by contacting Tashwil de Wet. Harry Crossley Foundation, we have a research project funding that we get through the Harry Crossley Foundation. And I just want to emphasize that this is unrelated to the Harry Crossley bursary that is managed by Mr. Nugent Lewis's office within DRD. So just in the Faculty of Medicine and Health Sciences, we do get some funding from the Harry Crossley Foundation to support postgraduate and postdoctoral student research projects or running costs. And the amount you can see, we offer up to 40,000, 80,000 and 100,000, depending on the level. And then lastly, I have just included our useful URL, RDS funding, for research development and support funding, where we upkeep a open funding calls page. That would be our own funding, Subcommittee C funding. It would be DRD funding. It would be national and international fundings, even bursaries and scholarships, anything that we know of that we also feel is applicable to staff and students within our Faculty of Medicine and Health Sciences. We will post here when the call is announced, just to make sure that people can access it directly. On the same page, we also have a summary of the most frequently accessed funds in our faculty. We summarize it and indicate what it's for, the total amount, what time of year the closing date is expected, and who to contact to help with that. And just one click away from this open funding calls page, on the right hand of the slide, you will see that we have a summary of our internal funds and the Subcommittee C funds to indicate in advance when the deadlines will be, and in some cases internal deadlines for national funds. So thank you for that. I'm open for questions. I'll have a look in the chat now.
Okay, so I will just be talking about the DRD travel grant. So the DRD travel grant is a co-funding travel grant for international visits and international conferences, as well as hosting a senior international researcher at Stellenbosch. We only fund 17%, 17,000 Rand. Or up to 50% of your total budget. The call is open at the moment. If you don't have the call or you don't have access to the call, please contact me. I'll send it to you. And it closes next week. And it's also for C1 academic staff members. Postdocs might have a separate call. We are not sure yet. As of yet, we need to confirm. But once we confirm whether a call will be sent out, it will be sent out through the distribution call. And then, as my previous colleagues also mentioned, the Consolidops. So this is up to 70,000 for 6 months. And you, the host, will have to apply for it, as well as co-fund. And it will open in September, October. And for more information on that, you can contact Isal Rousseau. So this is the Habian MJ Tom Trust for study leave, and it funds study leaves for longer than 3 months. It is for C1 academic staff members again, and at least one award must be a project dealing with history subject. And it funds 80,000 Rand, and it will open in September, October for official study leave in 2025. And again, you can contact me if you need any information regarding this call.
So yeah, thank you everybody. So now we're you're welcome to raise your hand if you want to ask a question. We're also looking at the chat. Dominique Esme has a question about the DRD travel. You can just maybe have a look at it.
There isn't a separate call for faculty. Well, because we only fund 17,000, we need proof that you have funds to actually do the research, the visit, because we know that 17,000 Rand isn't enough. So you have to show co-funding so that we can know that the visit will actually take place. I don't know if faculties have their own ones, but yeah, you can contact your actual faculty as well. Past staff members, we do not fund past staff, only academic staff.
Does the DRD travel grant also apply for conference in neighboring countries, for example?
Yes, yes. So it's for any non-South African conference. So Namibia, Zimbabwe, Botswana, all of those will be considered.
Okay, then we have a question about funding for an early career researcher who want to publish a peer-reviewed book. So, and that will depend on which faculty you're in. So if you're if you fall under subcommittee A, you can maybe send more details about the book and the stage where you're at, and it must be a book that will meet the requirements for the HET's subsidy. So there's a long answer to that question, and I think it's best if you contact Levert for that. We've applied for an international travel grant, but the outcome is not yet known. Maybe still apply to a DRD travel grant.
Yes. And then also assistance available for Tutuka applications. So for Tutuka, I will have workshops. So once I send out the call, I'll send out dates for workshops, and you have to attend those workshops. Yeah, for Tutuka now.
Anybody else? You're welcome to raise your hand unmute so we can.
As an academic developer.
I was an academic on a book, may apply for a book publication costs. Yes, subcommittees does also fund applications from the past environments. Again, I would suggest contacting Levert with more details about the specific book that you want to publish. But this, I'm just to be clear, this is not to write the book or develop the book project. This is for the actual publication funds once you have the book ready for publication. That opportunity. Let's see anything.
We covered everything. Yes, we did.
Okay.
Okay, so the subcommittee A and B funding opportunities are also available on the DRD website, and you can have a look there. But your contact person there will be Levert. So please feel free to drop him an email. We're always available to answer your questions that way as well.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think
we've covered everything.
We've covered the questions. So if there's nothing else, our presentation is short and sweet because there are so little funding available to us to fund from university for researchers. We're constantly trying to convince the management that we should have more funding, but please also contact your faculty for funding opportunity. Many of the faculties do have funding opportunities. So subcommittee or ABNC are just our central opportunities. And all the funding opportunities open for research. So it also comes through the faculty calls. We don't usually send all the open for research calls because that is where you should go and search for external funding opportunities. Our internal funding opportunities are usually either unsent via our listserv, or is it always very specific to one of the committees, then via the HODs. And we also put it in our newsletter. So please unscroll to the bottom of our newsletter because you might miss things. Yeah. Okay. I think those are all our questions. Thank you everybody for joining us, and you are welcome to send us emails or to follow up on any other questions. Okay.
Thank you, Colin.
Thank you. Bye-bye.